That was weird.
Hi. What just happened?
There's
Did you
like
hear me?
there's like an echo.
Okay. I don't know why there's an echo, but
I don't hear an echo.
okay. Do you hear me though?
I can hear you, but not an echo.
Cool. All right. Well,
Okay, I know
again,
there's the echo. There's an echo, Penelope, because your computer is on, and I gotta turn it off.
okay. I meant to. I turned off everything on it, so I thought that that would be enough, but obviously it is not. I closed off the thing, so yeah, just turn it all off if that's going to cause an issue. All right. Well, here we are again, Penelope Foot, the co-host, moderator, discussions for the Otherhood, and the remainder of your Blerdsassins Next Door. We got Nikki, James, Otto, and Sonia on this lovely December 7th, 2025. In this edition of our show, we'll be discussing the big and small untruths that make their way into our entertainment media. So before we get started, let's, of course, as usual, talk a little about the weather. Nikki, you are top center today. How is the weather in South Florida?
It is 85 degrees and nice
Oh,
outside.
wow. That sounds wonderful.
You know,
Is it sunny?
yes, it is.
Wow. You all have been
It
very
is
good this year.
beautiful.
Yes, you've been given the good weather. And you,
Yes.
no rain, no nothing, just sunny
No
and
rain or anything. It is just sunny and it is nice. And I'm enjoying it inside the house.
cool. All right. Okay, well, James, how are you doing up there in the city, the NYC?
Right now it's 49 degrees and partially cloudy.
Well, for you all, that's not bad, right? This time of year.
No, that's like that's perfect for this time of year.
Yeah, that's like normal. Have you been
That's
getting out in it?
that's cold. That's real cold.
That's not
Yeah, but
cold.
49 is not bad for this time of year.
For
That's
me
that's
it's cold.
that's
And
not cold. Weather when it's 49 degrees like that in New York City, we just laugh at the cold.
yeah, that's normal. That's like just putting on your coat weather. Some
Yeah,
people wear a jacket. Some people are.
I'd be complaining all day. It's too cold. How
You
can you
complain
all
anyway.
live with this?
Mhm.
Complain like that all the time anyway. So
Yeah, yeah, okay, yes.
I don't complain all the time. I'm a
Yeah.
nice person. I'm quiet.
All right, we let you keep on with that delusion. We let you have that. And so, how about you, Otto? How's the weather?
it's sniffles weather. So it's like
Mm.
52, and it feels like 41, and I
Mm-hmm.
sniff, sniff, sniffle.
Mm. So, I mean, are we in that period yet where you're getting the ups and downs? You feel like, okay, the weather is finally warm. I mean, it's finally cold, or are we at the point where we're still in that? Yeah, it may be getting toward cold, but it's going to rise into like the 70s any day now.
These and above next week. So you know,
How many degrees? Okay, well, we lost him, so I'm sure he'll be back eventually. So we look to hear from him. But in the meantime, Sonia, how's your weather? I know it's probably some kind of cold.
It's 30 degrees, feels like 23. We're expecting more snow today. Yet we're paying
Wow.
for the blue skies we had yesterday. Friday we had blue skies, and so now we're paying with gray skies for the rest of the week.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's James,
Sonia, I will
hold
never
my
come and
beer.
visit you.
Hmm.
Sonia, I won't come and visit you. I like you and everything, but it's too
I, I,
cold.
I'm standing too, Nikki. I know it's cold.
So she's waiting for her opportunity to get the heck up out of there.
I, I,
Hmm.
I'm going back under my covers as soon as we finish talking.
Oh
Hey,
yeah, that makes
I don't
sense.
blame you.
Yeah. Well, Otto, you were in, you were saying, and then you just
I'm
popped
saying with
out.
60, and it feels. What the hell was I saying? Never mind. The weather's good. I'm good.
All right, not too hot anymore, right?
No, it's not. I never say the C word or the H word. I just chill.
Yeah, no more, no more.
yeah, you said that you were sniffling,
Sniffly weather. Yeah,
sniffling weather.
yeah. That's my
And
new. That's my new copyright. You can't use it. If you try to use it, I'll sue you. So it's sniffly weather.
You don't have to worry about copyright infringement with that. That's
Yeah. Wow.
You know what? The
Really?
same goes to you, Felix. Same to you.
All right, y'all. Okay. We started talking recently about the big and small untruths that make their way into our, entertainment media. And one of the things that really always gets us is how it is that somebody's on a cell phone, then they hang up, and then you hear a dial tone. Okay, nobody has a dial tone on a cell phone when they hang up. I mean, unless you do, and you can
Do
explain it to
people know
me.
what dial tones are anymore?
Probably not.
When was the last time you heard a dial tone or anything
I
on
no.
can't
TV?
even
I
remember.
I hear a dial tone on my landline.
Yeah, but not on cell phones, right?
Right, but and that's in the movies you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Movies,
Yeah,
TV, series, yeah, like
probably is to me. I could be wrong, but it could be one of two things.
Mhm.
Maybe they might be using like stock sound effects.
Yeah.
Number one,
Agreed.
and number two, they want to emphasize that it's a phone conversation. So they
but
leave
they
the
got the
dial
phone in
tone
their
going.
hand. But they got the phone to their
Yeah.
ear, and the person hangs
Yeah,
up. Is it,
yeah.
hey, James, or
No,
does it?
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. And so they should know that there is no
but yeah,
that sound doesn't occur.
but when I say that, I mean for like dramatic effect.
Exactly. But they
You
should say
know,
most people think about how many kids watch television now, and somebody hangs up and they say, "What the hell is that?" And
yeah,
say you don't have any idea what that is.
yeah. It's probably for dramatic effect. Listen, we have
But if
your
you don't
daughter,
know,
and
yeah,
then
but if you don't
clicks it.
know what that
Ooh,
is,
yeah.
right? But if you don't know what that sound is, people, what the heck is that?
Well, I mean, it's probably like I said, you're probably gonna see it less and less.
As well you should, since it doesn't exist on a cell phone.
Yeah. So but no, I think it's just for dramatic effect.
Exactly. But the problem
Yeah.
is, it's dramatic effect for
Right.
somebody, for many people who don't even know what that is. It's kind of, what is that? Somebody just made what is that sound?
Hmm.
You know? What is
Yeah,
that? What is that even?
yeah.
I
You
mean,
know,
what's
But
that
I
word
mean,
for?
probably they would they have to research like
what is that sound?
coming up with a new dramatic effect for like Generation Z and millennials and God help us the Generation Alpha that's supposedly coming down the pipeline or the birth
Hmm.
canal or whatever.
Okay.
As we speak.
Yeah.
So it's like that, the thing that we grew up with. Like we watched the old like Doris Day and Rock Hudson movies. People had party lines and stuff like that. What the hell is that?
Yeah. I mean,
When I pick up the
I have no
phone,
idea how that would even work.
No, it's funny because actually the second movie that I was ever taken to was was it Doris Day and Rock Hudson Pillow Talk,
Yes.
and they had like a party line.
Yes.
You know, don't ask me why my sister dragged me to see that. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
but
sure she dragged you there,
yeah, drag me.
yeah,
and
Had
you
to drag
said,
them out just so
unless you
he.
said, "Oh my
nah,
gosh, I gotta go see the latest Doris Day film. You
nah.
have to see."
I sat there and was totally freaking confused. Okay, totally, and nothing
Right.
for nothing. The first movie that I was ever taken to, I was a baby. My mother took me to see King of Kings. You know,
And you remember that in all your life.
no, no,
No.
no. I just remember the movie. It was dark. But getting back to
Okay.
it was my mother. I just remember my mother took me to a dark place, and it was like something light, light
Okay.
showing.
Now, how old did you? How old were you then? Do you recall?
Oh, I had to be about maybe one,
Okay.
1 years old.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, we took our son to the movies when he was, I don't know how old he's about 4 or 5 months.
Really? I
Or,
don't.
yeah, no, it had to be it had to be longer than that because it was
To
to
see what?
see what is the name of it? School Days.
Oh, School Days. And that's
Yeah,
it.
remember
Yeah,
that?
I remember that. He bit the crap out of my thumb.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Nikki was there too.
Did you
I
see
think
School
Nikki was.
Days with us in Philadelphia?
Yeah, what? Me,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you, and
yeah,
Gray, oh yeah, Otto and Evan.
yeah, yeah, man. He was an infant, back then,
Yes.
and being carried into the theater, and
He was
you know,
good too.
Oh, he was. He bit the,
yeah.
did you hear me say he bit the crap out of my thumb?
He didn't do anything wrong. He was just such a good baby.
He didn't do anything. You know what though? Let's get back to the topic. Now, party
Okay,
line, okay?
all right, go ahead, go ahead.
Party line. I agree with James. Like, what the hell? I don't know what that is. I pick up a phone and it's in my house. Like, I may pick up an extension, right?
Right, right,
My sister or brothers or my mother's on the line, and I hang up immediately because
right,
they're
right. But there's some other
but
person not even in my house,
not even in my house.
and if that happens, then I'm thinking something is wrong with my phone line. Nobody should be on my phone but me.
Yeah, well, that party lines, that was kind of, at least for me, that was before my time.
And no
You know,
joke.
by the early to mid '60s, that was gone.
In
But
fact, the only places I remember, even like on television, really seeing that was like on the Andrew Griffith show.
right,
That all the people in the neighborhood, the community, all were on the same phone.
Yeah.
And you
yeah.
couldn't make your call because somebody else was on the phone.
In fact, I need to look it up and put it back on my writing page.
Hmm.
I had came across I think it's AT&T. They had like a little uh a movie short that they used to show in the movie theaters,
Hmm.
and it was about how to properly use the telephone.
Really?
Yeah, and it featured what's it, Bill Beard puppets. Okay, and it was this character, and he would explain different things about telephones, and he showed the right way and the wrong way to use a party line. You know, and it was it was like the little kid that he was talking to. He picks up. He said, "Now let me show you how and how not use the party line." And he picks
Hmm.
up the phone, and on the other end, I believe it was a puppet, and the puppet was a pig, and the
Okay.
puppet, and that represented that the person was hogging up
Right,
the,
hogging the line, right? Okay.
yeah, you know. So yeah, that was something really before our time. I mean, think
Look,
about it. Today, you would show a child a flip phone, okay, a regular, old
forget
fashioned.
that. Forget that. What about the phone with the antenna? And
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
remember that?
yeah,
Not only you
yeah,
had to
Yeah,
flip it, but you had to extend your antenna.
yeah,
yeah,
I remember that.
Well,
I
the
had
flip
one
yeah.
of those, I
the
think.
flip phones are back, so but not the same ones we had, but
No, they
they're
what are
foldable
they?
is how they
Yeah,
call them now.
yeah, foldable. I think they call it razor or something like that.
The old was a
Yeah,
razor, was it?
Samsung has this
Yeah,
thing like an expandable phone, but none of them has this that have the antenna like if you stick it out
Yeah,
like on Get Smart or something.
yeah.
It's not like that.
yeah. So, and I mean, as when it comes to movies and TV shows, it's funny that you see technology evolved.
Mm.
It goes from the party line to the 1920s and 30s, the candlestick phone.
That's
You
right.
know,
I just like those phones.
um,
Me too.
and one of my short stories set in the 50s, my main character uses a Jorda phone.
A what?
A Jorda phone.
What is that?
A
What's that?
Jorda phone is when you wanted to have like a conference call. So you wield this thing that looked like a between a radio and a speaker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was, you know, kind of like a floor console, and you wheeled it in. You took the phone, which more than likely, if it was the 50s, it was a Corsley phone,
Mm-hmm.
and you stuck it into the top of the Jordan phone, and that would amplify, the person you're talking to. So so
Hmm.
they can other people can hear
Oh,
the
okay.
conversation. It was big and it was clumsy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I saw it, I said, I don't know how the hell people got away with that. But then again, I'm quite sure kids these days they see an old flip phone with an antenna. They like, how the hell?
Heck is that?
Yeah, but and it's so like thick, like a brick, like
Yeah,
two
yeah.
bricks with a wire sticking out of it. But there's still no excuse for the use of a dial tone. And the other sound that your phone used to make. Remember the busy signal we used to get?
And
Yeah.
and and
Why
and
are you still using that in a 2025 film?
I do not
Or
know. No idea.
Well, like I said, the only thing I can see is they just used it for dramatic effect, even though that dramatic effect is kind of obsolete. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah, because
maybe it's
there people born who watching the film who had never heard that sound in their whole life, in their entire life.
yeah,
Either one sound. Yeah.
yeah. So the
Yeah,
dramatic
but but
effect
but
is
but
wasted for somebody
exactly,
younger. Yeah,
exactly, because they don't even know what that is.
right,
And especially because now if you call somebody on your cell phone and they don't answer it, you don't get a busy signal. It just doesn't connect.
right.
Goes to voicemail or something, or you
Or it
get
goes
one
to
of the
voicemail.
automated
Right,
sounds that says the person you're trying to reach
right,
is
right. Is
unavailable.
unavailable or whatever.
Yeah.
In
Or if you
fact, that would be a better dramatic effect, don't you think? That the person is calling,
Mhm.
maybe the person on the other line has been kidnapped, and
Yep.
then you just
yeah.
get that message. The
Yeah.
person you're trying
Yeah.
to call, yeah.
Exactly.
So
Is
you
unavailable.
know, so with movies and TV. See, the thing that gets me with what we're talking about is I can understand if it's a low budget
Mhm.
movie. I get it. You're trying to do the best you can. That's why I like we beat certain B movies because you could see they're trying to put the effort in, and if they had more funds,
Mhm.
they can achieve it. But when I'm watching a picture like say Gardens of Stone,
Mhm.
okay, and I'm watching James Caan in a restaurant
Mhm.
talking, a scene where he's in a restaurant, and I see the boom mic
Mhm. Oh, come on, come on,
dip
y'all.
down for a second, and it's funny because the boom mic it kind of had like a human reaction, like oh shit,
Jump right up. Oh,
it
oh,
jumped back up, So I'm like, my God, the budget they
for
had
all the
millions of
money that they
dollars, yeah,
made, that they miss this thing.
yeah. It's just like the Dark Crystal.
Mhm.
Jim Henson's The Dark Crystal. At
Ah,
one
yeah, I
point,
saw that thing.
right? There's
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Mhm.
one part where the puppet is walking and it's like rocks in between, so you can't see the puppet actually walking. But at one point, you see some gray hair pop up, and it's Jim Henson.
At the top of his head, yeah. So
Yeah,
okay.
they couldn't
yeah.
edit,
So
they couldn't edit that. No.
I
you
guess
know,
back in the day they didn't. I mean, once they guess they realized it was there, they couldn't edit it out without redoing it, and they didn't want to redo it.
they didn't probably didn't want to redo it. Maybe it was close to time that
Mhm.
the premiere or that day, and they're like, well, F it, we're just gonna leave it. And,
It's like
you
it breaks
know,
Ain't nobody
the
gonna
illusion.
notice that. That's what they say.
It breaks
yeah,
the
And then what comes along? Home video. So now
yeah.
all these people who love this thing so much, they sit there watch it over and over and over again.
hmm
And those are the people that find those mistakes.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
mistakes. It's like the stuff that breaks the illusion, like in Superman 2, when Superman goes to what is this place called again? The
Fortress of
Fortress of
Solitude.
Solitude, and he lifts up Zod, and you clearly see a sweat stain under Christopher Reeve's arm,
And they didn't notice that.
and they didn't edit that. They didn't
Yeah.
edit. And so I know, Superman. People sweat. You know what I mean?
But
It's
still,
like it's clear. It's like somebody dropped a glass of water under his arm.
oh man, it's not that bad.
It's
But yeah,
bad.
it was
It's
there.
bad. It's bad.
Yeah, and I mean, they could not. They could have. I don't know. Even now, when they remaster the thing,
It's
I don't
still there.
understand why it is. Yeah, that they don't. Yeah, take that and
And the
take it
people, the
out.
people I saw the movie with in New York, they
Hmm.
just laughed out. It was like so funny. It's like, boy, that's stupid looking. It's like
Yep.
Superman sweating the crap out of his uniform and stuff.
Yeah,
So
but
it keeps
again, that's the thing that gets me. These movies, they get over
Huge budgets, millions of
huge
dollars,
budget. Yeah, you
they
know.
can't get stuff
millions of
right.
dollars.
They're using it for dramatic effect, but they can't get it right. It's the same thing where they use like if you're a business person, you're sitting in your office.
Hmm.
You will never sit in your office. You will never catch anybody in their office sitting with their jacket on.
Yeah, you take it off when you walk
You would
in.
sit, yeah, you would. But like every movie where there's a business person, especially a man, he
Right.
Yeah.
has he has his suit jacket on.
So, but
That
you only
never.
put your jacket on when you walk out of the office.
So why is that? Why is that though? Why? What's the
Again,
Dramatic
again
effect.
for dramatic effect. You come in the office and you see the boss. I'm the boss, and see, I got on my jacket
I got my
that
jacket.
Okay.
shows I'm the boss. You
But
know.
Okay, boss.
yeah, because if you did
Okay,
that for
boss.
real, your jacket would be wrinkled like the F, man.
Yeah, and
Your
people would
jacket
look
be
at you,
your jacket
and
would look
your
like you slept in it.
and people would be looking it's like, so where are you going?
Or your jacket, the
Are
back
you
of your jacket
leaving the
would
office for some reason? Why are you sitting there with your jacket on?
the back of your jacket, Penelope, would look like you slept in your jacket.
Yeah, it looked like you slept in your clothes.
You slept in your clothes. It look horrible. Nobody does that. It's the same
Yeah.
thing when they show like military guys. Whenever
Hmm.
they show military people, they're in full dress uniform
Yeah, and
all
they
the
Yeah.
have
time.
different uniforms. They don't wear their dress uniforms all the time.
All the time for random stuff.
Yeah. Hey, I gotta go to the
Yeah.
bathroom right now. Let me put on my dress
My
uniform.
dress with all my medals and stuff on everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everything.
Especially when they go to like some command center, and it's people scurrying around and whatnot. Maybe the general or the colonel is in full military dress,
Yeah,
Hmm.
full military
and
dress, full like he's going to a parade or something. Like
yeah,
what?
so it's just like if you guys ever go like Wednesday going into Thursday
Hmm.
on WBAI, they have this thing called a dustbin of radio. And what it is the host plays a lot of old radio shows. And it was one radio show called The Witching Hour. And when you're listening to it, the characters are actually, and I guess because it's radio, they're actually explaining what exactly they're doing.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's just like, oh my gosh, Henry, it's a ghost. Okay, well, let's run down this way, and then I'll open the door, and then we'll run in the room, and then I'll open the window, and then we'll climb out. I'm like, oh my god, what the?
Like a play. It's like a play-by-play for sports.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they have to give
it's a
well,
play
they have
by
to
play.
give it to you because otherwise, how in the world are you gonna know what's going on, right?
Exactly, exactly. You know,
That's someone
and
who couldn't afford the Foley stage.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like I mean, also, I mean, since we can't see them, since it's radio, we won't know that they're running into a room that has a window. They have to tell
Yeah.
us that there's a window.
yeah, yeah. So
I
this is with different types of media. It's like sometimes you have to do that. Although with the phone thing, they need to stop with that.
They
really.
need to stop.
Yeah, because it
They need to
doesn't
stop
make
with that,
sense to normal
and they
human
need to stop. They
beings.
need to stop with the military wearing full dress uniform too, because
Yeah,
that
Yeah.
that just bothers me. Like every time you see a person doing routine things in the military, they got full. They got the, they got the shoulder things with the, you know,
It's like, y'all, come
don't make any sense. It's like you're making a phone call or something, or it's like, what do you need all that? Why do you need all your medals and stuff on for?
on. Because you may not
yeah.
understand what I'm saying on the phone if I'm not wearing my medals. Don't you understand that, Otto?
That don't make any sense. That make no
If,
sense. I wish they would stop doing
but
that
if I
because it's
took, but
stupid.
if I took off my medals, you wouldn't be able to understand what I was
Right.
saying.
Yeah,
Okay,
It
yeah,
wouldn't
It's
have the
for
same
like
weight because
a
you wouldn't know
dramedy.
that I'm a general.
that's right.
exactly.
It's a dramedy, and they show Ulysses S. Grant in the Civil War or something, and he's in full dress uniform. I mean, you know damn well that
I,
Ulysses S. Grant didn't have his full damn uniform on
that's
in
yeah,
the field.
that's bogus. That's totally
It's so
bogus.
I
Because
hate that.
it is one. Listen, I love reading about his biography. I think he was a
Hmm.
great writer because with his memoirs, he kind of was a game changer in that he used more common syntax instead of like the
Hmm.
poetic prose
Hmm.
that people use. But anybody that knew anything about Ulysses S. Grant would be that whenever he was out in the field, he wore a private's tunic, a private's jacket.
Wow.
Okay, he would wear a private's jacket. Half the time, he wouldn't even have his stars
Wow.
on the jacket. In fact, one time, in fact, at Appomattox, okay, when he met with Lee to sign a surrender, a Confederate general that was there, General Colonel, and he was like, okay, Lee came in and Lee had his sword and his
Hmm.
or his sash and all this. He was all dressed up, ready to go party or whatever. And Grant came in, and the Confederates were like, "Wait a minute, that's Grant."
Hmm.
Because he came, he had mud on his pants and his boot. He had on a private's jacket.
Hmm.
Okay, and the only way people knew that he was Grant was basically Grant was actually not that big of a person,
Hmm.
So that's, and I think he, of course, he lit up a cigar to smoke, which he really, actually, he kind of fell into smoking cigars because people used to send them as like
Hmm.
presents, and so he took up smoking cigars to his detriment because he ended up
Mm.
having getting throat cancer.
Wow.
So yeah, so in the movies, and see that's another thing in the movies, they always kind of portrayed Grant as either drunk or as this brooding person. The weight of the world
Yeah.
is on his shoulders and
Right.
whatnot.
Right. And the thing is,
Yeah,
I tell you that's another thing, like the difference between what's real, what's
right.
historical, and this thing like that, and then the way they
Yeah.
want to paint something, you know,
Hmm.
which is
It's
very,
done. It's done, and it's a Hollywood shortcut to me.
yeah.
So like James said, it's like for dramatic effect. Instead of saying, this is the general, he's in charge. It's like Eisenhower. You see pictures of Eisenhower during World War II. He's not in full dress. He's not
Yeah.
in full dress, but you
Hmm.
see him in the movies and stuff. He got everything on. He got medals. He got what? This from World War I, and it's a shortcut. It's a lazy shortcut, and it's a lazy shortcut to have a guy sitting in his office with a jacket on. It's lazy to have a dial tone. It's lazy to have a busy signal. These are
Yeah.
shortcuts that they use for like
but
James.
but again, they don't want to be like James was saying, the radio show thing. Yes, the phone now must not be answering my call because
but they're
The
showing
silence
something.
on the end
They're
of the
showing
other
something.
line. I
They're showing
don't
something that
know.
no one. It's showing something no one ever. No, the people today have the kids today. The people today haven't experienced.
Yeah,
It's
but the
like
thing
showing
is,
the pillow talk with the Doris Day in the 2025 movie. You might as well have a party line in the 2025 movie for what it's worth, right?
but it would take so much time for people to understand what's going on if you put a party line in a film. Because I got to say, for myself, I didn't understand how that were again, like I said, unless you see the Andrew Griffith show or something like that, that they have these people, on these lines.
I thought it was just for country, like people in the country,
Exactly.
people in
That's
the
what I was gonna
south,
say.
people,
That's exactly
people in
what
the
I thought.
south, people in the south use tin cans and wire to talk to each other.
Okay.
well, again, that was, I guess, back then, that was to make maybe having a phone affordable, you know, and who knows, maybe the technology, maybe whoever was in charge of technology at Ma Bell was maybe Captain Peach Fudge,
Peter
who,
Peter
who,
Best.
who
Yeah.
knows, you know, um, yeah, so the technology. I mean, look at 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Mhm.
People are FaceTiming on like, I guess, video phones.
Yeah,
Mhm.
You know, and and actually, that's what everybody thought. We were headed to. Because again, AT&T, they had a short about it. I remember going to the World's Fair. They were talking about, yes, in the future we're going to have video phones, and then bada bing, the cell phone technology came and knocked that out of the box.
Yeah, it just
You know
became different than what they thought it would be. We still got the
exactly,
video phone, but now it's this handheld thing, not the thing that's static, in your home or whatever. And you have it, you take it with you.
hmm
yeah,
Well,
now,
we do have Zoom now, so
yeah.
yeah, yeah. And remember the a word called Skype? Remember that?
Oh, yeah, I remember Skype. Yeah.
Wow, that is
Yeah, I remember Skype.
Remember that?
that's way
Everybody
back.
thought during the pandemic, during the
Yeah,
pandemic, everybody's going to use Skype,
yeah.
and nobody
Yeah.
used Skype. Nobody used it.
Now, now, going in another direction, I
Hmm.
want to bring something up. I
Hmm.
saw something about fairy tales, right?
Oh, yes.
So at work, I have this book, The Brothers Grimm. Okay, and the title in the title Grimm, exactly what the book is. This book is more horror than, I don't know what to say. I had a hard time getting through one story about this young lady. Her father was a king, and
Hmm.
it was something that happened, and she had to leave. And
Hmm.
the next thing you know, they had to cut off her hands and
Yeah.
replace her hands with silver hands. And I'm like, oh my God, what the?
I don't
This
know.
can't be for kids.
oh
No,
yeah, they
It's
were.
worse. It's
but
worse than
it was interesting because they said a lot of these they were not really for children. They were tales for adults, and some of them they say were actually um historic. That these are they are folk tales, but a lot of them are based in fact about things that actually happened, or they are, like you say, a shorthand, a fictionalization of things that actually happened. We saw this I guess this podcast or regarding what's the one, Hansel and Gretel, and how this concept of in times of famine that yeah, children would end up getting eaten. That is a thing. So
yeah. I
when we
mean,
looked at it, mhm,
they were literally eating, and what we found out by reading, by watching this, it's on YouTube. It's called like lore or something. I forgot.
mhm,
But every fairy tale that you've ever heard is absolutely false. Every one. Every single one.
With the way that they play it now has been
Right.
so revised
Every one
that
that you heard. Every single
yeah
one.
takes
Even the
away
ones,
the original.
especially the ones that say that the evil stepmother. There's no evil
Hmm.
stepmother. It's the
Yeah,
mom.
it is the mother. And then when they do Snow White was so shocking. They're saying how the mother, the concept of being the most fair, the most beautiful, had so much power attached to it. That if you are the most beautiful, then you are the person who is basically the social center of things. You are planning things like who it is that marries whomever. And it was like, and if the daughter ends up being more beautiful and they get a better hookup than the mother does, for instance, if the daughter is so beautiful that the king wants to marry her, as opposed to the duke, who is the husband of this woman, this duchess, then she would get rid of her daughter because she doesn't want her daughter to then become the most powerful person in her household.
It's
And
it's it's weird. And the thing about, the Hansel and Gretel,
hmm
no, it wasn't the stepmother that was doing that. It was the mother. And the idea was that, to leave the kids and leave them in the forest because it's better that two people starve instead of four people starve.
hmm
Well, I tell you, it's like this as far as I go. In one of my stories, one of my characters tells the other that basically a lot of folklore and stuff like that you've heard, it has a grain of truth to it.
hmm
Okay. So having said that, yeah, I'm not surprised with the mother and the daughter, because back then, especially in Europe, you had a lot of political intrigue. You know what I'm saying? Where the line of succession,
hmm
you know, one would what dag nabbit is they doing? So
Yeah, but the thing is, the issue is this: is that Europeans are always talking about Africans being cannibals and stuff, and bones through their noses. But uh, it appears from these records that they have regarding the genesis of the Grimm fairy tales that cannibalism was a normal thing in tough times.
Yeah,
Like in tough times, get the kids and put them in the oven and
cook them up.
cook them up.
well, I mean that was probably just a sad fact of life.
Hmm
If you're in Germany, okay, if you're in Germany and your parents you're trying to make ends meet
hmm
and whatnot, you have a child, two children, and you guys are your family's on over to the point of starving,
hmm
okay, or you might have a neighbor that's starving but has a couple of pieces of gold. So yeah,
But
I,
intentionally eating your children and writing a story about it, and the story that's written is like a warning sign. This, don't do this. Beware of this, and then to cover it up and turn it into the story that we've all heard and read as kids, even as adults. And turn it to something else. It's just clear.
well, I mean, listen, with cannibalism,
hmm
that's just the way of the world. Not just in Europe, but all over the place. I know I came across one time a picture of two old ladies. It was a black and white photo of them posing with body parts of children.
My goodness.
Okay, and I thought it was from something they were like serial killers from the 1800s, something like that. No, that picture was taken in Germany in the 1920s.
Wow, what the heck was that about?
What it was after Germany surrendered, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was so much punitive actions taken against Germany and reparations, and France wanted, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Germany to pay them reparations for the, what occurred in World War I.
Right.
That basically Germany's economy went into the tank. Okay, and people were starving. People had a hard time trying to make ends meet. The country was in ruins. Okay, so these two ladies came up with this thing where they would kill kids and sell the children's body parts as meat.
Wow.
Okay,
And
Mhm.
that's the sort of thing that brought Hitler into power.
exactly, exactly. Germany's economy was so bad that opened the door for Hitler to rise to power.
So that horrific thing happened, and so this other horrific thing could happen.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, look at what happened just the other day. Upstate New York, this Hasidic Jewish man died in prison. Why was he in prison? Because back in 2011, he snatched a little Hasidic boy off the streets in Brooklyn, took the boy to his home. I assume he molested him. He even had the boy captive to the point where he took the boy to a bar mitzvah. And then he brought the boy home and killed the little boy and dismembered him and had his body parts in his freezer.
What a monster.
Right now also, I'm not picking I'm not picking on Brooklyn. I'm just saying
You are picking up Brooklyn.
right now there's a woman in jail because she nobody knows what she did with her son. And
Oh
it's go
yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah. She won't say what happened.
right, right. She won't say. In fact, when the police came to her door, she said, "Son, I don't, I don't have a son. I can't have children."
What?
And then the police got contact with ACS, and ACS was like, "Oh, hell to the no. She has a son, and here's a copy of the certificate." Okay,
Wow.
yeah, and they ran upstate to some landfill upstate trying to find out if his remains, are up there.
But
Wow.
the thing about what television shows you and it's not true or it doesn't reflect real life is that these fairy tales are not really fairy tales at all that you would tell to children to put them to sleep. They're stories of like indictments
Mm-hmm.
or stories told by witnesses or people that got away and or witnesses and stuff. And they're basically saying this is what happened, and then they've been glossed over and picked
Mm-hmm.
over and retold to
To
be in books.
sanitize them.
Yeah, yeah,
Senator, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And,
Um,
and but it's all wrong. It's once again what movies and TV get wrong is that it's like turning a witness statement that someone said they were kidnapped and did someone did bad things to them, and then 20 years later you turn it into some sort of mild story of lovers lost or something. It doesn't make sense.
Well, you know what it reminds me of watching it was the 1937 version of Oliver, Dickens's Oliver versus the musical of Oliver that was done. And sure, the musical has a lot of, negative, difficult scenes, but it does not show you the dirtiness, number
Yeah,
one, of London. They try to make it seem like, oh, look at this child going to London. It's such a wonderful, wonderful place. But that
right.
child wasn't looking for a wonderful place. He was looking to go somewhere to get lost.
And
Also, it did not show, I mean, they made Oliver in the original, they showed him as this little 9, 10-year-old boy who was hardened, that they made him hard
right.
from the way that he was treated.
But
He was able to sit there taking beatings and not crying because he was done. He was just done. And
but
he got
also
the heck up out of there on his own. A child packs his stuff and gets the heck up out of there
but
because he's
also
got,
Penelope,
yeah. Hmm.
should everything be a musical? It seems like everything is a musical now. I mean,
But I
the
think they make it into a musical in order to lighten it. And the thing is, it really cannot be. In fact, but they did do it. They did lighten it, when they did this musical version, and they make this Oliver seem, oh, he's just, this soft little guy in this hard, terrible world. But Oliver in the original one, he was not, I mean, he wasn't like, the Artful Dodger, who was like a criminal, but he also was not someone who did not understand the world they lived in. He understood very well the world he lived in. He didn't think, "Well, somebody's going to rescue me, or anything like that." He understood his world, and that a rescue came was not something he planned for or ever thought would happen. It just happened.
everything gets turned to a musical. I mean, I'm waiting for O.J. Simpson the musical, or I'm waiting for like the Donald Trump administration the musical, the January 6th musical. When they made The Color Purple into a musical, I was like, that's
Why?
the subject of a musical, is it really?
Okay,
Yeah,
I was totally lost with that.
They'd have to make. They're trying to make it accessible and easy for
Yeah,
people.
I,
Like I
I
remember Sweeney Todd. Everybody was aghast at Sweeney Todd. I was like, what the hell do you think a butcher was back then? I mean, a barber. The barber was the dentist and the butcher.
yeah, yeah. I
But they could have
understand
still
that.
aided people though.
That's in fact that's basically what you get with for the over the decades with Disney. They take took stories and trying to
exactly.
make them accessible. I get that, but then there's
Not
this.
just accessible to make them palatable. They
Yeah,
wanted it to be nice. They
Wait,
wanted.
hold on.
right.
Yes, people
Wait,
just rather it's people would rather have Pocahontas be a willing participant in her romance than realize she was just a child kidnapped and
Mhm.
tortured.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
right. I mean, we were watching the true story of Sleeping Beauty, and it was like, this woman who lost her agency, and so she's poisoned or drugged, and she's totally out, and this guy climbs on top of her and he impregnates her, and then 9 months later she's still out, and then she has a baby, and then the she's awakened only when the baby starts to suckle on her finger, and the splinter that caused her to be knocked out in the first place comes out, and it's like Sleeping Beauty, ladies and gentlemen. It's like,
Yeah,
it's,
and
it's nowhere
this
near
king
what.
just, but the king molests her when she is asleep and has no agency. She becomes impregnated. He does not check on her, but when he finds out he's got these kids, he's like, "Oh boy, like I did such a great thing." And his wife, of course, not so pleased about this. So her position in this is that she is so angry about it that she has the two children brought to the palace and has them cooked and served to him
Oh my
I,
God!
I mean, look,
All
in the original.
There,
listen. It
there
it
is. I was gonna say, go ahead, James, and I'll.
it is it's like this. If you were to take the original version of Sleeping Beauty as you described it, right?
Hmm.
If you wanted to do it exactly like that, you wouldn't take it to Disney. You would take it back then to Hammer Films,
Yeah,
and
no joke.
you
yeah.
would get you would get Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Barbara
Hmm.
Steele, and
Yep.
do it like that.
Yeah, because that's a horror. That's a horror story.
That is a horror story. I definitely want to see it too.
There's
I
there's a YouTuber who does princess parties as the Disney princesses, but she also plays on her shorts. I think she's also on TikTok. In her shorts, she also plays Tinkerbell, where she goes and she asks the princesses the real stories, and how each country has a slightly different variation of their story. And then she's writing down all the horrific things that really do have, in the stories. And it's like, but that's not in their Disney film. And one of I think it was Belle who actually turns to her and go, well, would you watch a Disney film if that was actually the story that was told? No. Then why? That's why they change it.
And I thought it was very interesting in this, podcast, this video, whatever the video that we saw, where they were explaining that at the time of the Brothers Grimm, that Germany was not even a country. It was like an aggregate of
Right.
different little duchies and things that they were trying to become a country. So the use of these folk tales, etc., was to show the heart of who they were, which is why the second and third editions are very different from the first edition because they don't have all these horrific things. They want to show their people as being moral, and having positive attributes instead of, yeah, and they, baked their kids and ate them in a pie. They don't want to show that story. They want to show the other thing, the heroic part of them, and even if that means erasure of the actual issues that were like some of these old women. They said that they got these stories from that this is real, but it's just been changed a little to make it into a story. But these things have a basis in reality, but they
Yeah.
didn't want to share that reality.
And you also factor in that I could be wrong, but copyrights were non-existent back
Hmm.
then. You can there. I mean, in the 19th century, you have a lot of writers that would basically steal stories from other writers
Hmm.
and slap their name on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. See, hey, why not? Right?
Yeah, and with Germany, yeah, I mean, you had Saxony, which was more militaristic. You had uh, was it Bavaria? That's that
Hmm.
part of it, and definitely Prussia was kind of a country within a country. With the Prussians.
Yeah, so the things that you watch on television, like Rumpelstiltskin and Hansel and Gretel, and even things like the potato famine, which I found out just recently wasn't really a potato famine at all, and
Yeah.
it's told on television and it's told in history books that Irish people came here because of the potato famine,
Hmm. Yeah, because of that potato
and so what
famine.
really happened is there was no potato famine, but the English held the food.
Maybe you're going in and out.
Yeah, the English held the food,
Yeah.
which is why a lot of Irish people still hate England.
Well,
Well,
I
To
mean,
this
the
day.
things
you put
telling you,
your
yeah,
faith, your belief into these things, but they're not what they seem.
absolutely. Absolutely. We think that this is, a reality, but historically things are so uh, contorted, they are manipulated in order that we see things. And because, okay, people came over here because there's a potato famine, and again, it feeds into the issues of exceptionalism. That, oh, we're starving. What are we going to do? Leave everything behind, and we're going to start our lives in this new world. But really, it's that for whatever reason you have permitted, you know, Great Britain, England, whatever, to steal your food, or you let them, but they did it anyway, regardless of whether you let them or not. And so you don't have any food. So what are you going to do? What can
Yeah,
you do? You
exactly.
know?
And that's something that you watch television. A lot of people watch television for educational purposes too. Like they don't know,
Mm-hmm.
and so they use television to so they can know what's going on, and so what you're watching on television, they look at it as if it's a documentary or documentary light or
Mm-hmm.
adjacent documentary for their informational purposes, but it's not the truth at all.
Well,
It's not even close to the truth.
Right.
Actually,
And
I
and
think
and
it's
and, and it's just like people watch television, they see the Statue of Liberty, and many people, I think the majority of people don't believe or understand that the Statue of Liberty has. They don't think the Statue of Liberty has anything to do with the ending of slavery. They don't connect the two because the
Hmm.
Statue of Liberty now is seen as a beacon for immigrants
Yeah.
to this country.
yeah, but see, you say television, right? I think
Yes.
it's
Television and
I
movies, yeah.
I think it's even worse when you go through some videos on YouTube. Okay, I've seen some videos on YouTube that are totally not factual. Okay, in fact, case in point, let me ask you guys this: was Cab Calloway a devil worshiper?
I would never
I
say.
would not have ever
I would
think
never
that he
connect
is.
the.
No.
I would never connect the two. I would never even in my mind
Yeah.
to think that people who worship devil and Cab Calloway have anything in common. And I know you're going to tell me different.
No, I'm gonna tell you this: is that I came across a video about Cab Calloway being a devil worshiper, and it was so stupid, so insipid that I had to leave a comment. I'm like, listen, for all these people watching this video, instead of relying on the internet for information, pick up a book sometime.
Yeah. Go to a library, man. Come on.
Okay, and obviously I hurt somebody's feeling because, in fact, I also said watching this video is a real hoot, right? And obviously I hurt somebody's feeling because they replied back saying, "Oh, well, your comment is a hoot."
So,
All right,
okay.
okay,
Your
all
Thank you.
comment.
right, yeah. So you know, yeah,
I was going
TV.
to say, at least you got somebody to comment back. I saw a video that's supposed to be about history, talking about foods that were created by accident, and they had the person supposedly creating the potato chip. And I went, person
Oh,
who created
Okay.
the chef who created the potato chip was black, and my comment
Right.
got deleted.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
it was deleted? Wow.
I was like, okay,
Okay.
evidently somebody didn't do all their research and didn't want to redo and it was an animation. All they had to do was replace 2 seconds of video.
Yeah. And just, yeah, it's like, no, that was, no. What are you doing? Do
Wow.
some research, man. Or a lot of times they say, well, we're just trying to put out the information. It
Yeah.
doesn't make a difference whether or not the person is black or white or
Right.
Asian or
That's how you.
Hispanic.
And
That's
that's the
what,
first
oh
sign
my
that
God,
you
they
know.
always say that.
That's the
Mhm.
first sign that you know they're full of crap when they say it doesn't
Yeah.
matter black or white.
It
That
doesn't
that's
matter,
always
then do it right then.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's the other issue when you have people who are, either misidentified by culture, ethnicity, gender, as doing a thing or another thing. I mean, now there's so much information now about things that were invented by women or actions that have been taken by women that previously were either erased or reported as if it had happened and that a man had done it because it's a heroic thing or it was an intelligent thing. And, but people grow up all their lives seeing the lie. And when you tell them the truth, then, man, they swear that you're crazy. You know?
Yeah, you got to be crazy.
Yeah, that's
But
not what it is. Because I saw that movie, when I was a kid that showed that
right,
man doing that thing.
right, right. It's got to be. You got to be crazy because this is what I believed all my life.
Right. And you've been told a lie all your life
Right.
that you don't want to acknowledge the fact that you've been lied to, your entire life.
We have been lied to. I think we have been lied to. We have been lied to. We lied to because Hollywood takes shortcuts. Right.
Yeah.
Hollywood takes shortcuts. So instead of saying the brutality of slavery and how slavery really worked or something, we have Kuta Kinte, somebody throwing a net over him.
Yeah, and dragging him off
The
from,
slavery is much more
yeah.
complicated. Yeah, it's much more complicated.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that's really interesting. When I first, find out, when they finally start telling the true story of how the African countries basically sold their brethren or other tribes that basically into slavery for money, and that they became very wealthy as a result. And they don't want to tell that story. They don't. They, in fact, they were content with us believing, oh my gosh, the British, the Portuguese, whoever came over just grabbed us and nabbed us, oh my gosh, and dragged us away. When
They
the
threw a
truth
net
was,
over you.
But then they also don't tell you that some of the reasons, not all, they had to sell people was because they wouldn't take anything else because they didn't want to quote infect their local trade.
I'm
Why do
sorry,
you
I
want to?
understand. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, why do you want to bring in? Look at all this stuff that these people can make in Africa. Why do we want to jeopardize our local trade for that particular item to show that it's plentiful in Africa? Then everybody's going to go to Africa for that stuff instead of buying it from us. So the only thing that they would accept in trade were people in some instances.
Okay, I don't
I
know.
don't get that.
So
I don't. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, there was
I
something because there the myth is that in South America all those pyramids and stuff were there just cuz. They don't want to tie it to the fact that even the natives said the black people brought all of that stuff over because that would interfere with their logic that we were savages in Africa and had no trade, no culture, no education.
yeah, but I
That the
mean, the
only
reality,
thing that they had that was valuable were the people.
but even the people that they took, the lie with that is they bring people over there to do this backbreaking labor, but
Right,
that wasn't true. People were brought over here because they were skilled laborers.
right.
They had an understanding of many issues of growing, of horsemanship, all these things that they wanted to get, but didn't
To
really want to pay for.
right. Why should we pay for their blacksmith technologies when we can bring them over here to do it?
Right. That's it. And that's what they're
And
stealing the
if we bring
people.
over their tech, if we do it any other way, people are going to go to them for the blacksmithing if we don't bring the blacksmith to us.
Well, yeah, I mean, the other thing that shocked me was how they had the black elites, the African elites,
Mhm.
on the deck of the ship in the luxury part of the ship, of the same ship they had in the hull, they had black people stacked like cords of wood. That to me was a huge surprise. It's like, wait a minute, you mean to tell me they were going to European universities and they were going to, drinking tea on deck while, people that look
Other
just
black
like them
people
were in the
were,
in the
yeah,
bottom of the ship?
yeah, in the hold, and that's
okay.
it.
Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you. Whatever that was, I guarantee you that shit ended when they got to the United States. Because as long as you had a black face, I don't care what part of
Oh no,
Oxford or
no, no, no.
whatever,
What
you
no,
were going in chains.
no, what happened is understand that these are the children, relatives of these chiefs and tribal leaders that they are dealing with for the slave trade.
And see
So
another
they are
thing,
transporting them to go to these schools. These people were wealthy; they had money, so they treated
yeah,
them just fine because they
yeah,
wanted to keep that chain open so they could keep going there and getting more slaves.
yeah.
You
And
know?
but see, here's the thing. After a while, those same elites. Okay, first of all, a good portion of Africans that came here as slaves were prisoners of war.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
Okay, they were prisoners of war, and those same elites, once Britain and France stopped supposedly abolished slavery and
mhm.
was
They
stopping slave ships,
right. They did no more importation of slaves.
right, yeah. So okay, if I'm a slave purveyor
Hmm.
and I'm looking around and like, okay, well, well, chief, whatever is gonna come with some slaves, and he comes with like 4 slaves, and I need a quota of 5. I'm gonna be like, okay, okay, chief, and then he goes to leave, and I'm like, excuse me, where you going? Where you going? Well, I'm going back to my village. No, you're not. Get in line.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
Get get your black ass in line. You're going with the rest of them.
But the thing, the portrayal to me is that they have people on black people on deck drinking champagne, while other black people on the bottom of the ship
Mhm.
stacked on top of one another. That seemed to me to be something. Number one, I did not know, and number two seemed like a real like one of the ultimate betrayals to me. You know, it's like
Yeah.
And see, another thing with that is
I
if you okay, for every slave that came over from Africa, for every say 5 slaves that came over to the United States and the Caribbean or whatever, for every 5, I guarantee you, for every 5, 2 slaves were at the bottom of the Atlantic.
Mhm.
Okay, so none for none. I'm just saying. I kind of think that whole thing with the champagne drinking and partying was like few and far between.
Of course, but these
Because
because these were
once
wealthy
you,
people. You know,
yeah,
these were the wealthy
no, but
people.
I'm saying the majority of people that came over here, they was below decks.
Of
They
yeah.
was
course.
below
I
decks.
Of
just I'm just
course.
I'm quoting stuff from Henry Louis Gates and the research that
Right.
he did.
No, and I'm
So,
I'm quite sure. I'm quite sure it's happened because actually you also had some people that were already here, right, living in the Caribbean, that by their own volition, if that's the proper word, came to the United States. Okay, you had a sprinkling of people like that. So I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but that middle passage,
Mhm.
that was the MF.
well,
That was
Yeah.
the MF.
it just makes
Absolutely.
me it makes me sad, right? It just makes you just really dreary and sad, number one. And then number two, it doesn't reflect what you see on the Kuta Kinte. You know, when we saw Kuta Kinte, we saw Roots. Remember
Right.
seeing Roots for the first time? Everybody went back to school the next day and just mad, just totally,
Oh yeah,
totally
yeah,
I could kick
yeah.
somebody.
I remember getting on the
Oh, me
subway.
too. Oh my gosh.
I remember getting on the 6 train going downtown, and most white people was like looking down at the floor.
Everybody mad and everybody guilty and everybody.
So and see, we gotta look at it like this too.
And also another thing that
Mhm.
made me so angry when I saw Roots is the thought that the ship's captain was saying, oh, that he had gotten like syphilis or something from having sex with one of the women and stuff who were on the ship. And what a lie! You know, they are the ones that had syphilis. It was the British and stuff who had syphilis and gonorrhea and brought that to those people. I said, what lies they tell, you know?
Yeah, listen, Captain, come on, dude. You got that. You picked up that syphilis at Piccadilly Square. So
That's
let's
right.
Silly threat.
start.
Yeah.
but you know that whole, and don't get me. I love Roots. Roots is a little flawed.
Hmm.
Okay. Overall, I think it's one of the best things to come on TV. In fact, Alex Haley kind of had his issues because he kind of lifted a couple of lines from another book, but that's for another story. But we also got to understand that you still had that legacy of, by 1977, you still had that legacy of early Hollywood. And when I say early Hollywood, I'm talking about like right around when Hollywood was first starting. Paramount was still in New York.
Hmm.
Um, Hollywood was basically taking over by that redemption. I think I mentioned this before. By that
Absolutely.
redemption narrative, okay, where people were celebrating the lost cause around World War I. You had a racist in Woodrow Wilson in the White House. You had Birth of a Nation. So they took that fake false narrative and kept it going.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you know that, and the other thing is that who is white? I mean,
Mhm.
the definition of who is white has changed, right?
Yes.
Because watching 1941, 1945, whatever year it was, the Bowery Boys, remember them?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
None of them would be considered white back then.
They
They were not
were
white.
Italians and Irish and
There was
Polish.
there was all the racial slurs that came with being that, right? But they
Mhm.
certainly weren't white Anglo-Saxon Protestants.
Yeah,
But
That's
because
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
but but today, those same people are white people.
Yeah.
Well, I got news for you. That changed a long time ago. That changed like going into the 50s, where people that weren't white Anglo-Saxon Protestant would considering themselves to be white. You know,
Yeah, and I mean, look at it. I mean, I'm down here in Texas, and let me tell you, I went to court one day just recently with a client who'd been arrested, and they called me and said, "Oh, help me get out of here." So I went down, I trying to where they were, what was going on, what happened, and I looked at this listing of the people who had been arrested that day, trying to see, where if my client was on that list. I'm going to tell you this listing, all these people who have these Hispanic, Latinx, Latino, Latina last names were all designated as white,
Right.
each and
yeah,
every one of them.
Right. Yeah, because the other thing is what television doesn't show, that's correct, is a lot of a great many people think that this country is half black and half white.
Hmm.
And if you watch nothing but television, depending on the shows that you watch and the movies that you watch, you would think the same thing. The country is half and half.
It's so funny that you say that, Otto, because when I was sitting, when I was at dialysis, before they take us in, we sit out in the lobby. Me and this white guy were talking, one of my friends, and I don't know. We got on that subject, and I was like, Andy, you got to understand. Um, he was talking about black people, that black on black crime and all that. And I said, Andy, let me explain to you. The reason they talk about black on black crime because that's what they want to talk about. In your community, is a lot of white on white crime. And you got to remember also, it can't be that much black on black crime because we're just like 13% of the population. And he didn't know that.
He didn't know that. Yeah.
A lot of people do not know that. A
A
lot
lot
of
of
black
people
people
think
don't
the
know that.
country, and the ramifications of not knowing that. If you think half this country is black and half this country is white, and that black people are basically in the position that they are in, and they're half the country, you got to say to yourself, what a sorrowful group of people.
Because
They're
they're
fifty
not
percent of the
50%
country.
of the country. And if you look at the top, what do you call it, Fortune 500, I mean, there's only like, two black people tops,
Yeah,
who are
I mean,
the head of
you
these corporations. It's
you're
like,
going to
yeah,
medical
but
school. You're
even
going
if
to
we
medical.
were, but
You're
even
going
if
to
we were, we would be overrepresented
Yeah,
because
if
there
you're
are
going to
so few of us.
medical school or law school or engineering school or all these professional schools, and you say, "Well, I go to these classes, and if I see one black student, it's like it's a surprise." And there are a lot of classes where there are no black students at all, and it's like black people are lazy and dumb and not ambitious because I don't see them in places that smart people go, and they're 50% of the population. One in two people in this country is black, and that's what
yeah.
you think.
And say, no, it's like 1 in 10 people, you know,
One in 12.
yeah, 1 in 10, yeah,
and, and,
one in
and I hate to say it, but going in the direction some white people understand. They see that we're only like 13% of the population, and they're like, "Why are they all?
What? Why? They what?
Why? Why are they always complaining about this and that? They're only 13% of the population. What
Yeah,
do they want? You
Yeah.
know?
yeah. I want equality.
Now
I don't
I
want you
I
treating me
I
differently
I
from someone
I've,
else.
I've
That's what I
I've
want.
gone into the rabbit hole online. With these, I guess you can't call them conservative. There's something else, but I've gone to the rabbit hole online, and they basically say, you know what? We don't have to listen to what 12, 13% of the population say. Shut up. You're 12,
Yeah,
13% of the population.
yeah,
You don't have anything to say about anything.
yeah. And that goes back. That goes back to something else I was saying, in that with this country as a black person, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Hmm.
Okay, it's this is the way it is. I told people a long time ago, you could only keep racism down, try to keep it down to like low levels,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
it's never gonna go away.
But you watch television and you watch movies, and you see black people. Sometimes they're represented in different areas, and
Yeah,
sometimes it shows like Friends. The show like that, based on what the producers want to show. They show a New York City that's absolutely devoid of brown people. But we saw a movie. Penelope and I saw a movie. No, was it a movie or was it a show? Was it a show? It was a
Which
show.
one?
It was a show. It was Bewitched. It was
Ah,
Bewitched, and it was 1965. And they were showing Office, McMahon and Tate. They're trying to get trying to get
the
get
client.
a client or something. And in the background is a young Judy Pace.
Yeah, she's a
And
secretary.
and the thing is, back then, back in those days, Hollywood was trying to show an integrated American
Right.
yeah,
picture, and so and showing
And
black people in a different way, in a different space.
yeah, and
yeah.
the thing that was crazy about it is that we believed that that was real and true. So we grew up thinking that that was a world that we were being bequeathed. Instead, we didn't realize that that was aspirational. We thought that was already happening.
Right, right. You hit the nail on the head, Penelope.
Mhm.
We thought that was normal, and other people, even the people who were doing it, thought it was aspirational, right?
Yeah,
Mhm. And
and
we
and
didn't know
and,
that.
and mind you, things did go on the upswing during the '70s, because you had a lot of black people that were getting jobs in the government, in whatever municipal
Mhm.
system, city that you lived in. You was
Right,
starting to
right.
get black mayors and everything.
Yeah, and
So all of
there were
this was,
shows. You had
yes,
shows that had black people
mm-hmm,
in the lead, or black people I mean, the
right,
show is named after somebody black,
Mhm.
yeah,
and you still 12% of the population. That's a heavy thing to think about.
yeah. But see, the thing was, a certain segment of this American population didn't like that,
Mhm.
and that's when you had the backlash started in 1980. Okay, that's when things were starting to go against us. You had people complaining about, remember the thing with quotas
Yeah,
and affirmative action,
and then you
and
have
that,
and then you have TV shows that show black people in a different space, like
right,
Hill Street Blues, one of
right,
Penelope's favorite shows.
Mhm. Yeah.
You
Uh,
have and Huggy Bear and all those.
and I
Then
want to tell you though that I watched Hill Street Blues when I was, I guess, high school. It was on. I guess we were in high
yeah,
school,
yeah.
and I look back now, having watched Hill Street Blues, and I feel dirty. I
Well, I
mean,
thought it was.
I
I,
feel.
I thought I was watching, like, what they call it now, that the TV like shows that HBO does. There's like those those quality shows. It's like
Mhm.
really
Yeah.
good writing. Those.
Yeah, I know the word that you're talking
Yeah,
about. I know the word you're
that's
talking
what I
about.
that's what I thought I was watching. I thought, oh boy, look at me. I'm really watching
Which is
something that's above that crap that other people watch.
yeah, and you find out as you get older. So wait a minute, what were they trying to say? I'm going to tell you when I really got. I mean, actually, I realized how contemptible the show was in the end of the show when they showed the guy who was the Hispanic guy, and when he
Yeah,
finally got his own uh, precinct, right? And
right.
how everybody there was so divisive, and the cops were all crooked, and basically all he wanted was to be in charge, but he didn't have the ability to actually run his department. And the one Furillo, of course, the Italian guy, he is quintessential, but also feet of clay because he's having a relationship with one of the DAs, and he's and I don't
Why
know if he was
and
supposed
why
to.
was that bad anyway? Why was that? Was that something sinful? I mean, were they both like married or something? That was so
I think
stupid
he
to me.
was. I think he was
And he
supposed to
was
have been married.
divorced. I thought
I
he
think
was
he
divorced.
got divorced, but I think at the very beginning that he had been married when they were hooking up.
But
And
yeah, they show black people in that different space.
yeah, but they showed him and Veronica Hamill always looking clean to the bone, as they used to say. She was always
Right.
a
And black
lovely.
people look like they just got like they stuck their hand they stuck their hand in a big jar of Vaseline. They put it
Yeah,
all over their
man.
face.
Only Michael Warren and Torian Block, were the only ones who were like normal. You know, but they were also cops because there's no black or white, just blue, right?
And
Well,
every black woman was a hooker.
That's right.
well, nothing for nothing. I never really got into the show. You guys tell me that it was supposedly based in on Boston. I just thought it was.
No,
I thought it was L.A.
no, you're
or
talking about
Chicago. I
St.
don't know where the
Elsewhere.
hell that was.
No, James.
Huh?
Wait a minute.
Saint
Hill Street.
Elsewhere was Boston.
Yeah, Hill Street Blues was where? I thought it was in.
It was supposed to be like Midwest because there was some snow.
Well, see,
Yeah, I
that's the
guess
whole
you're
thing.
right.
They
I had no idea
never
what the hell
You're
that was.
right.
In all honesty,
they never
You're right.
see
You're
this.
right.
Chicago maybe.
This no, this is what I didn't like about it. Because no, it wasn't Chicago. Because they would have emphasized Chicago. This is the thing why I didn't watch it is because they just had this generic to me in the city, okay, and I'm like, come on, what is this that they're trying to do?
Okay, I'm looking
This.
up right now to see where it's supposed to
Yeah, I
be.
think Sonia's right. I remember there being like snow in
Yeah, I
that
just
Yeah, I
area.
remember there
remember
was an
seeing
episode
snow.
in Christmas and all this that there was snow.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but it showed black people. That's when you got the late 70s and 80s. Like James said, you start
mhm,
seeing black women as hookers. That you didn't see Julia anymore, and Julia's gone.
mhm.
No, yeah, because they started. Then see, once the powers that be at the
Yeah,
networks,
well, they were
once
saying
they
this. I'm sorry to interrupt, but they're saying the opening credit sequence was shot in Chicago, while the
Chicago.
episodes were shot in Los Angeles. Location scouts said it was hard to find LA locations for the show because locations could not have visible palm trees, at least the first episode. Possibly as many as the first three was shot on location in Chicago.
yeah, and it like I said, it didn't even look like Chicago with the police cars, the the um the police uniforms. I don't know
Yeah.
what to me personally, I don't know what the hell they was trying to do.
Hmm.
Um I didn't in fact I didn't like okay, you had Michael Warren,
Yes.
what was the
Torian
other
Block.
yeah, I
Hmm.
definitely didn't like his character.
You didn't like either one
Why?
of the
No,
characters?
no, well, see, Michael Warren, I just either or. I didn't really. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate his character. I didn't like his character. But LeBlanc's character, I didn't like because he, that whole seediness. I don't know. It's just something. Bottom line is, I never gravitated towards that show. And see, another thing is, once the powers that be saw that audiences liked that they portrayed a certain type of black person,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's when they latched onto it. And it
Yeah.
wasn't until when you look at it a couple of years later when the Cosby Show came about and a different
Yeah,
world.
yeah.
And even then, people were saying, "Oh, a black doctor and married to a black lawyer? Nah,
That's not
humbug.
real. That's not real because
That's not
because
real."
they got raised on this Hill Street Blue stuff. But remember
Yeah,
back in the day when you had Dragnet and Adam 12, the criminals were white.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
I mean,
that's the
the
thing. It's like,
hookers were white. The hookers are white. The criminals, the burglar, the guy climbing in your window was a white guy.
yeah,
You know? But in the 80s, and like when Ronald Reagan became president, they flipped the switch, and then all of a sudden, you
every
know,
criminal is a black
everything
person.
was black, and then
What?
the black actors said, "Oh, that's great for us because we need to be working, right? We need
Yeah,
jobs."
but you don't realize that you do to our community by doing these jobs.
yeah, yeah.
And if you believe that that is the truth of who it is that we are, well, no, this is just something somebody created, you
No,
know?
they believe that that's the truth. That's your truth. Cosby Show, in different world. That's not your truth.
Yeah, this is what it is. Like I said, by 1980, because to use to paraphrase the Jeffersons, during the 70s, we were moving on up.
Hmm.
Okay, in fact, Verdine White of Earth, Wind and Fire, he said that the reason why with his generation, with them, the reason why you saw a lot of people wearing big afros was a symbolism that we were on the upswing.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
because you could have stupid shows
Mhm.
like That's My Mama and all that stuff like that because you had other shows where you showed black
right,
people in different. You had the Mod Squad and you had all this
Yeah.
right.
other
Yeah.
stuff, so you could have this balancing act. But then the balance tipped. It's like you don't have any
Yes.
more Mod Squad and you don't have any more Julia. You have
Yeah. All we have
Good Time.
now,
Yeah,
yeah, is good times. Exactly. And boy, did that latch on, you know?
yeah,
Yes, it did.
yeah. Because there's no balance the other way. It's so they said, well, people who watch TV like they're watching documentaries say, well, that's black people. That's black people's. That's the space
That's
they belong
how they
in.
are. That's how
And,
they are.
and,
That's how they
and,
are.
and to be honest, if you were trusting television, and a lot of people do, even people who are immigrants to the country, they watch television to learn what America is all about. I would not want to live next to those black people because they're nothing but trouble.
Well, look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. He said when he came to this country, he couldn't hardly speak a lick of English. English.
Still
So
can't.
what did he do? He said he would sit in front of the television and watch TV, and he learned to speak English by watching television. He
Yep.
also said that he became a Republican because he used to at that time watch Richard Nixon on TV. So
Yeah.
TV is a very,
Powerful.
Strong.
very
Powerful.
powerful, and it's went to with phones. Okay, because I mean, my God, you don't know how many times I've seen people walk into walls, hit pillars, bump
Yeah.
into people because they focus on their phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I told you about the Asian guy that got slapped.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, he's so
But
watching his phone, and them two school kids looking at him. He ain't paying attention to Jackbone. What's going on? When they got off at what Ralph Avenue, they fire and ran.
but the thing
Mm-mm-mm.
is though, they don't. What television doesn't teach is phone etiquette, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm in a conversation with you, we're talking about X, Y, Z. All of a sudden, you pull your phone out and you start scrolling through your phone while
So
we're in mid
weren't
conversation.
we talking? Yeah. I mean, it's very interesting to me because I think about when I watch now these Korean dramas, and I notice, like for instance, they're talking to you. You know, the two people they're talking, and this is all the time. They're talking, having a conversation. The phone rings. the person whose phone it is will say, "Excuse me, I gotta take this call," and they get up and they walk away and take the call. Or the phone rings and the person that's sitting there with them will say to them, "Aren't you going to get that?"
Yeah.
So it's a
We
very
don't have
interesting
that.
thing that
We don't
they
show that.
have the what you call it, toward picking up the phone, where for us it's just the opposite. Somebody's calling me, and I'm sitting there in front of you, and the person who's on the phone's got to wait
Yeah.
because
So
I'm
it's like
talking to you.
the person in front of you is way more important than
The person
anybody
that
else.
calls on the phone.
But that's not how.
Unless you say, "Hey, I'm expecting a call, at a
Right.
certain time. Is it all right if I take that call when I get it?" So I think it's very interesting that I see these people and they basically have a priority. They prioritize that call coming to them over the person that's sitting in front of them, which I think is bizarre.
And
Yeah,
rude.
and yeah, and rude. But they think it's not rude. They think it's like normal. But I think
But
it's
that's
rude.
tell it. I mean, like James said, people who immigrate here from other countries, other places, they watch a show like Friends, which is my one of my target shows. They watch Friends, and that's how they interact. That's America. That's
Hmm.
New York City, and that's America.
Yeah, until they get a culture shock when they take a wrong turn and end up on like 135th Street
Hmm.
in
Well, they're
Harlem.
looking at you. Well, they get off on there it's like, what the hell is this? Who put the jungle in the middle of New York?
I
That-
think that yeah,
they're scared. They're scared of you because if they watch Friends, they don't
you're
see you.
you're unexpected
Right. It's like, what the hell is that?
in the middle of your own neighborhood. You're unexpected.
Yeah. Or riding the train or serving them a hot dog or, whatever. It's like, what is that? And then if they start to explore, well, who are these black individuals? Then what kind of shows are they going to see? If they're watching sports, maybe they'll see sports, but in other spaces, they're not going to see black people the way black people actually are.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
with the subways and buses in New York City, you learn you learn about diversity really quick. Okay, you learn about it really quick. You can't. I say it's the worst thing you could do is to go down into the subway with a preconceived notion
Hmm.
about other people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the subway is kind of like the great equalizer.
Yeah.
You know what
But
I'm
but
saying?
but at the same time, understand this, James. People really, really believe in television. I mean, they when they had the New York election for mayor, they had to turn people away in Kentucky who thought that they could vote for the
Yeah,
mayor.
I know. I know.
So what kind of
So
craziness is
so
that?
that is how much
Television.
television. That's
No,
how much power they had. It's like there's no election. Nobody's voting for anything here. Go home. There's no
no,
election.
no. And I found that, to use my word, to be a real hoot. Okay,
Yeah,
but
that's kind of
no,
wild.
I get it. I understand because see, you guys forget that a couple of podcasts ago, I told you of a friend of mine, a young lady that I grew up with in Bronx River Houses. She thought everything she saw on television was real.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, she thought everything she saw on television was real and factual. So yeah, and like I said, it's even worse now with people and their phones because now you get into your own bubble, your
Yeah.
own world. You know what
And,
I'm saying?
and then, one of the worst things is when black people watch television and think that's how I should act or that's
Hmm.
the way I should behave because that is what is expected of me.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Listen, here in New York, uh, a couple of years back, Nicki Minaj was a game changer. Okay, in a negative way because when she came about, a lot of young ladies coming up thought that whole kind of ditzy routine You know what I'm saying? And the blonde Nordic wig, that's what it was supposed to be about.
And she wasn't that way normally. It was
Right.
a
No, but
persona,
it's the
but they
same
thought
thing
it
with
was
Queen.
real.
Remember Queen Latifah and some of the other.
MC Light and
Yeah,
all those women.
they had they look cute as hell. They had
Because
great what you call, but they could pivot, right? They
they
could
have the
pivot.
money to pivot.
They
They
had the
can
money
wear
to
those
pivot.
baggy
So
shorts
a
like
lot of
guys and the
young black
clothes that
women,
look really kind of butchy. But then when they want to get dressed and put on some other
yeah,
clothes, they got the money for that.
and a lot of young black women were left in the dust.
Yep.
Yeah. And a lot of people didn't realize is that Queen Latifah's background, okay, she wasn't exactly as far as from I remember her background. She didn't grow up in a household with like 12 sisters and brothers and
Hmm.
no heat, no hot
Yeah.
water, something
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
She was a trained jazz singer.
But it's
Exactly.
but it's a good story though. It
Yeah.
gets you on TV, but because that's what television expects. They say, here
Yeah.
we got this guy who grew, who was born and raised in a garbage can. You know? And so you become a star. You're an overnight star because you were born and raised in a garbage can, like most black people are. So
And look what
you're
you
an
did.
example. Yeah, yeah.
You made it.
It's like one of the white actors. I forgot who it was. Who's a Saturday Night Live. When I forgot what's his name. What's the guy who's on 30 Rock? What's the black guy's name?
Tracy
Tracy Morgan.
Morgan.
Tracy Morgan. He said one of the white actors said, "I know a real black guy. He used to live in the projects. He's a real black guy."
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and see media, television, all of that, they focus on just one segment of the black community.
Exactly. Because
Okay.
that's what they want to sell to everyone to make white people feel more comfortable, I think.
Exactly. Exactly. This is the game that's being played. They focus on one segment of the black community, not understanding that number one, we're not monolithic.
Exactly.
Okay, we have different types and flavors and levels of black folk in this country. Okay, and if you want to broaden it to the Caribbean in the diaspora,
Mhm.
okay. So this is where Hollywood, and it's not so much Hollywood these days, it's the media companies, I guess you could call it.
Mhm.
The media companies, and whether it's the streaming services or the legacy media.
Right.
And it's a legacy of what I say, going back to which I'm thank God the narrative has changed. Okay, although it swings back and forth, but this goes back to originally with Hollywood. The powers that be wanted theater goers back then to see this myth of black people or people of color.
Hmm.
They wanted the Mexican wearing the sombrero,
Right. Right.
talking slow. They
Yeah,
Yes.
wanted either you was if you were black, you was either uh uh
Was
uh,
that dangerous or funny? Remember?
right.
right,
The guy from the New Yorker, the editor in the New Yorker.
Hmm.
Black people are either dangerous or
Dangerous
funny.
or funny?
Nothing in between.
yeah. Is that's the cut and driedness of what they've been trying to do. And like I said, it has changed. Okay, because you've had, like, during the '60s, you had companies and the networks. They tried to fight the good fight. With Julia and Greg Morris on Mission Impossible.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so they tried to fight the good fight, but like I said, things started going backwards starting 1980. You
Yep.
know,
So that's
after
you see it because basically it's stereotypes. It's the television deals in stereotypes. So, if you want to show a soldier or a general, you show them in full dress uniform all the time. If you
Yeah,
want to
Hmm.
show a businessman, like you said, you show him he's sitting in a chair with a jacket on. That means he's a boss.
yeah,
If you want to show, somebody their phone is busy or something, you do a busy signal, although nobody
Right,
knows what
right.
the hell that is. Or you want to show that somebody's on the phone, you do a dial tone, which nobody knows what the hell that is. But they do shortcuts and they do stereotypes. That's what they deal in.
yeah.
Yeah, because
It's
it's the time savers, right? These are time
Yeah, time
savers.
savers. Yeah.
yeah, it's like right now. I think on was it Netflix they have the 2-part thing about President Garfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you watch
Okay,
it,
and
have you seen it?
now I've seen parts of the first one,
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
and
that guy, man. If he
yeah,
had been able, if he had not been murdered, I think this would
mhm.
have been a very different country.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it though is this what they're showing this movie, I guess bio movie or whatever. Um, some of it is not accurate. They're placing people like the convention that nominated him. They're placing certain politicians there that weren't there.
Hmm.
And they also having certain politicians portrayed in a way like Chester Arthur, who was the president. The portrayal is not correct.
I think they
Mm.
portray him as a stone cold drunk or something, right?
Yeah,
So, but
yeah.
the question is, how to the artist on the panel, how far do you give artistic license?
I don't believe, for something based in reality, I don't believe in a lot of artistic license at all. I think that if it's a thing that happened with real people that were there, then you should try as much as possible to have these people reflect
Yeah.
the historic accuracy. I don't think that it's okay to have somebody who is a real human being, like they did with that Oliver Stone, I think, with it's a film that he did regarding the two towers, to have this guy who's at the barber shop jump up and run over there to try to be one of the first responders and stuff, who's ex-military, to be first responder, and to show him as a white man when he was in fact a black man, and for him to say, well, but it didn't matter, it's like a composite character. Great, then how was it a composite character that was black, because the guy who showed up was a black man? So that kind of stuff, who it was, who showed up. Show the guy who showed up, not some composite character of that you just conveniently make into a person that is not the black person that showed up,
Yeah, with me,
or
it,
like the erasure completely, like when they the Hidden Figures. Now we have this space program that we've known about since our childhood, and to have an entire space program where they've eliminated the existence of the black women that were in the back room, the calculators who were actually calculating the math for these expeditions that they were going on. I mean, I was so stunned as a grown woman and found that out. Stunned that that existed, and they just erased every black person, female. Everything you see is a bunch of white men in short sleeve shirts, watching the blast off, of these
How,
the
how do you
different ships.
how do you
I
think
just don't understand it.
how do you think they were so good at that and doing that? I mean, nobody in our community, we didn't talk to each other about it, or how was it? How was
no, well, first of all, I think that was basically disgusting what they did. Um, but this was the myth that was perpetrated. Okay. I can actually remember watching, Apollo 11 and all of the moon Apollo missions because I was totally fascinated with that,
Me
and
too.
also
Me too.
the '60s with Star Trek and Lost in Space.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Again, to use the Jefferson's word, moving on up. Um, I
I
think.
felt robbed.
Well, I like I said, I was totally disgusted because it's not just the women that worked in the back room on the figures and triangulation and all that there.
Hmm.
You also had two black astronauts that
Yes.
they
Yep.
didn't want to acknowledge.
Yeah.
Okay,
And Chuck
one,
Yeager, I remember, was instrumental in making sure.
yeah, the second one,
Mhm.
yeah, the second one, Chuck Yeager made it his business not to have that man become an astronaut.
Mhm.
Okay, which definitely Chuck Yeager, his star went down. I put him right next to Walter Brennan, and y'all know how I
Mhm.
feel about Walter Brennan.
Absolutely.
But it was also another Air Force pilot, a black Air Force pilot, that unfortunately his training plane, I think, crashed. I could be
Mm.
wrong, but I think his name might have been Mitchell.
Mhm.
But no, this is what Hollywood does. This is what Hollywood does. We got the movie The Right Stuff, okay, but we didn't know about anything else. They just focused. If they focused on anything else, they focused on that shit with Chuck Yeager in the movie.
Yeah, they did.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it was the white stuff.
Yeah.
And
The
by the
white
way,
stuff. Yeah.
do you want me to do my Walter Brennan impersonation?
You
No, thank
can
you.
do it. Go ahead. Do it.
No,
Do it for
never mind.
James.
No, I feel bad
Do
now.
it for. Okay.
I was gonna
Go
do
do
it
it.
in the real McCoys, just Walter Brennan and the real McCoys.
Yeesh.
No, you don't go to the bar.
Walter
God,
Brennan. Nobody knows what we're talking about. Walter Brennan and the real McCoys, the TV show.
Yeah. Yeah. Because most of
uh,
them, I probably did not see that show. I know I did. You did. I don't think any of the rest of y'all ever saw that. Did you? I
oh,
know.
oh yeah,
I know
yeah,
Nikki probably did not remember that show
yeah.
because she was really young.
That's the thing. That's the thing that pissed me off because I used to watch it and I would be
Yeah, yeah.
And
not knowing that,
then,
not
yeah.
knowing he hated my ass.
Well, but to me, it's like for me, that's just like watching Hill Street Blues. I didn't realize until at the end of the thing. Said, wait a minute, wait a minute. I think that I would have felt differently if at the very end when the Hispanic officer, he finally got his own, became his own, got his own precinct, that things would have gone well.
Right,
You know,
right,
I would have felt differently. But the
right,
fact that they made him like a failure in this place, all the cops were crooked, and there was so much
right.
divisiveness.
Such a
I thought,
disaster.
what a bunch of
And
bull.
one more thing, Penelope, before we go off. One more thing. The show politically incorrect. Always
Oh
hated that
Lord have
term,
mercy. Me too.
and I to this day it was all to say that something is politically incorrect. It just
That's a
a
dog whistle. It's just a
it's just
dog
a,
whistle.
it's for the ability for someone to call me the N word and not have any repercussions.
That's all.
Yeah,
That's what they
That's
want.
all it is.
They don't want it for any other reason.
That's
They
all it is. To
no,
say,
no, and not just
oh,
to
it's
call you,
politically incorrect.
but not just to call you that, to call you that, and that you cannot react to it. But like, they want you to be upset, right? But then they don't want you to be able to retaliate. So they want you upset, but they don't want you to retaliate. But if you weren't upset about it, that would make them even more angry. If you just went, okay, that's very nice,
But
that's very
that's
cute.
why I never watched that show because the term politically incorrect to me
But you
was
did
such a
watch it, the Bill Maher
no, I
show.
didn't. No, I didn't. I watched Real Time and he came over to HBO. He got
Okay,
canceled.
all right, okay.
And the only reason I watched that
The
show is
same
because
thing to me. It's all the
I
same.
thought he had some good political guests on there that I wanted to hear what they had to say. But then during the actor strike, when he said he couldn't wait for the actors to settle the strike. He was going to go forward with his show. I said that's it. I'm gone.
Yeah, yeah.
But I did not watch Politically Incorrect because of the title. I think that's if there's a more racist term. But let me put it this way: it's a very racist term to me. A
Yeah,
very
but
sexist, loaded, racist term.
yeah, absolutely. It's a dog whistle to presume like, oh, look at us. This politically, they want us to be politically correct. No, we just want you to act like a freaking human being and be a civil individual who is a citizen of this United. We want you to be a patriot and act like you were born in the United States and got some sense. That's what we want.
Yeah, you should.
There are a
You
lot of
should watch
countries
the
you can go
show.
to.
I should watch the show real time. And
Hmm.
I stopped watching it. And when Larry David came out with that article in the New York Times about my breakfast or my lunch, dinner, or whatever with
Hmm.
Adolf,
Hmm.
he got butthurt. He got seriously. Bill Maher got seriously butthurt about it.
Yeah, because Larry David would never come on his show before that and after that, but he would always make excuses for not being on his show. And he just realized probably because Larry David didn't have any respect for you. You
Man,
know,
Larry David. Basically, Larry David said, "Well, I'm not gonna come on the show because I'm not politically as astute or smart as you guys are, so I'm gonna stay off the show." And he was his ego was what got in the way of seeing through Larry David's sarcasm. Is
yeah,
that Larry David is very politically astute and very smart. That's why he wrote that article of my lunch or my dinner with Adolf as a result of Maher having a lunch or dinner, whatever he had with the guy who's in the White House now.
yeah. And I mean, I think that he is probably one of the most obtuse individuals ever. I mean, untalented, obtuse. I cannot stand him.
But
You
he's
know,
he's, he's what dumb people think it represents smart.
I think you are correct.
Nah,
I
to
th-
me, to me, I didn't really watch either one of those shows because he's just too smug for me. You know, he act like he knows everything.
I don't know
Um,
Jack. I don't
don't
know
know
Jack.
Jack, and then if you try to or you call him for being racist, he
Hmm.
quick to pull out. I think his wife is black or something like that.
Oh, he dated somebody
He
Yeah,
black
dated
or
some
something.
dated
black. He
somebody
did date
black.
some black women.
So that
Okay.
that automatically,
Gets him in the
can
club. He's in the
right.
club.
Yeah, yeah. I
That
said
yeah,
no.
it gets him to the
I
barbecue.
said I'm sorry. Reference as we will somebody like Candace Owens, so that don't work. You know,
Right.
that can be any kind of
Well,
piece of garbage to do dating.
I'm not an Ice Cube fan, right? But I remember when Marsh said the N word on his show, and then he was about to be canceled again, and he tried to get every black person that he knew, which are not that many, to come on his show and give him cover. And I think he had Tice, what's his name? Who's the astronomer?
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
he had him on his show, and then he had Ice Cube on his show, and Ice Cube just got into that ass. He's
He
like,
said, "Nah, you are not excused."
yeah, you're not allowed to say that.
Yeah, you know.
Nobody gave you permission to say that.
He said, "Nope." He
You
said, "I
better
like
ask
you,
for
but
my
no."
permission. They say, I need permission. Yeah, you need my permission.
He said, "No." He said, "That is not. Mm-mm. If you get
Now I
no
don't know what
pass."
happened. I don't know what happened to Ice Cube since then.
Well, I
Maybe he
think the
fell down a
problem with Ice
flight of
Cube.
stairs or something. I have no
Well,
idea.
no, I mean, I understand what happened with him. Is that his career was beginning to take a downturn because his time had passed. So he had to try to find him, a new demographic.
How
And
many
so he
damn
found his new
barbershop?
demographic.
How many barbershop movies can you do, Penelope?
Exactly. And so that was what I mean is he was done. So I have to find me something else. And so I found me a new audience. The right wingers. I got this new audience. Would they tell and him to come out?
Until he found out that he didn't have them either.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you when he came out saying that, acting as if he's like the representative of all black people in the United States. I said, you better get moving, buddy.
Well,
Nobody elected
you know
you.
what? He had a decent legacy. He had Friday.
He sure did.
He had NWA.
Sure did.
He had some good some good
Yeah,
some
he
Oh
had built up some
wait, wait,
goodwill.
Wait a minute, y'all. You guys are forgetting his blockbuster, War of the Worlds.
Oh, ha ha ha! Yeah,
Yeah,
we forgot
he tried to
about
look
that.
like he
As
tried
did
to look
all
like
the
Jeffrey
possible
Wright.
audiences. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's
What?
the what? The who? The what?
yeah, yeah.
Li-
Wasn't
li-
that
Listen,
that movie with that where he got no Rotten Tomatoes or something?
Yeah,
He
I think
got
it's got a
zero.
0.
How do you get? You know what though? I don't like Ice Cube. I don't like him. Okay, I don't care for any
A 0
a Rotten
tomatoes?
Tomato.
listen,
Come
Is that
on,
even
listen,
possible?
that's too
y'all
much.
know,
That's
you
too
guys
much. Even for
know, you guys know I'm the king of the bees, right?
No, yeah, no joke, man.
come
But
on.
I, like a Catholic priest, I told him I cannot help you, my son. I cannot help you with this movie. I'm
Did you
sorry.
see
Did you
it?
see it?
Yes, I did.
Was it that
Really?
bad?
Yes, it's that man.
Oh,
He had to.
wow.
He had to see it. He had to.
Oh, my goodness. I got to go see it now just to see how bad it was.
Oh dear Lord. Uh,
Wow, that bad,
uh,
huh?
You
if
calling the Lord's name?
He called the
if
Lord's
you
name. He called the Lord's name on Sunday.
Yeah, there we go.
if you like if you like sitting through a movie where he just sits in one room and reacts to stuff,
No.
okay, and if you like product placement with Amazon,
Oh, no.
okay, it's it's the movie for
It's
you.
a movie for you. Okay. Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yes. It's a
Oh,
cinematic fire.
wow, man.
And see, Ice Cube lost his black audience.
Yes, he did. Yes, he
I think a
did.
lot of these people thought for all these years in the past that they could do whatever they want to do and the black audience would just follow them. And people stopped doing that. That people just don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
They just don't do that anymore. They don't just
Why,
like
why do you
follow
think?
you
Why do you think they?
mindlessly.
Why do you think that they stopped? I mean,
I think
is
it's
there a line in
because,
the sand or?
yeah, I think there is. I think people just got tired of being taken advantage of. I think that the black audience got tired of being taken advantage of. That you think that we have to follow you wherever you go, yet you do so much to do so much harm to us. So
Yeah,
why should we continue to follow you?
you
And look,
got
guys,
rich off.
we're in the last 2 minutes of the show. So is there
Yeah,
anything that we need any announcements you to make before we get moving?
Yes, I have an announcement.
Go ahead.
I would like to say happy birthday to my nephew. He will be he will be 14 tomorrow.
Whoa, yay!
thank you.
Mark.
Yeah.
I'm 14 years
Yes.
old,
All right.
Yeah,
Okay,
Mark will
anyway.
be
All
14.
right, all right. And anybody else got anything?
and
Because
so
we get
will
down
I.
to it. Any other
I
announcements?
just
My roommate turns the big 50 on next Saturday.
Yay! Congratulations!
Yay.
Woohoo!
I didn't hear.
um
What did he say?
A roommate, Kim, is
Yeah.
big 50 next Saturday.
Oh,
Wow.
Congratulations! All right.
she made it.
Yeah. Anybody else? Because we're down to
yeah,
the
I
last
just
minute.
I just want to say rest in peace to Celeste Rita Baker. She was a fellow writer and she was a mentor to me.
Oh well, rest in
Oh,
peace, sister.
sorry to hear
That's
that.
Rita Baker. All right. Well, y'all, thank you very much for joining us today. What a spirited conversation. We had a great time. Join us again next week here in the Otherhood. Take care of yourselves. Happy getting ready for the holidays and not spending all your money. Take care of
Mm-mm.
yourselves. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.